Hey, what's up, Spencer? My name is everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Sorry that I haven't uploaded in a hot minute. I recently found out that I have bed bugs, and that has been an absolute nightmare to deal with. I've had to get rid of my mattress and my box spring. My entire apartment is a complete mess. I have had a whole heat treatment done, but I'm still going to need to put like such a large majority of the things that I own into storage for the next year to make sure that anything that could still be living in it is dead, because even though I had the treatment done, I still have found some bugs, which is nasty, and I don't want any of that stuff around. So, like, I've just been so overwhelmed with dealing with that. So, yeah, that's what I got going on. But that's not what you guys are here for. What you are here for is to hear about the story. Well, it's not a story. I don't like calling it a story because it's not, like, made up, you know? The case, that makes it sound like a true crime podcast, which I guess this is technically true crime. A crime was done, and it did really happen, but I still don't like the incident. Today we're going to talk about the incident in which two cops went out of their way and drove 100 miles just to kill a little girl's goat. And I gotta tell you, like, everything about this story is just fucking wild. It's insane. Insane, crazy, crazy insane. So EL was a 9-year-old girl, and I'm using the past tense was because this happened a while ago, not because she's dead or anything. As far as I know, she is alive and well and doing her own thing. And also, I'm referring to her as EL because in the court documents, because she is a minor, she is just referenced as her initials. So EL was a 9-year-old girl who was a part of 4-H. And if you're not aware of what 4-H is, it's kind of like Girl Scouts, except that they focus a lot on farming stuff. I myself was not a part of 4-H, but one of my friends when I was in middle school was a part of 4-H, so she would bring me to quite a few of the events that they had, and that was really cool. Except for the time that she brought me horseback riding, but she didn't tell me that's what we were going to do. So I wore flip-flops, and then she yelled at me and like, oh my God, girl, if you had told me what we were doing, I would have worn sneakers. You picked me up from my house. Why didn't you say anything, Becky? Sorry. This is a video about this 9-year-old girl, not my 15-year-old beef with a girl named Becky. So like I was saying, EL was a part of 4-H, and one of the projects that they would do is that you were to raise a farm animal with the goal of, at the end of the year, this farm animal would be auctioned off at the county fair. So that is what EL did. For a whole year, she raised a goat named Cedar, which is almost as cute as being a baby hippo named Bouncy Pork. Now, like I said, the goal for raising this animal is you're not supposed to keep it. You're supposed to auction it off at the county fair. And a large majority of the animals that get auctioned off here do end up being slaughtered for food or whatever you're going to use that animal for. And because EL had spent the past year raising little Cedar, of course she grew very attached to this goat and obviously did not want her beloved goat to die. Apparently, she even was like so distraught over this that the entire time that they were at the fair, EL was sitting in Cedar's pen with him and like would not leave his side, just absolutely just so attached to this goat and didn't want him to go anywhere or anything to happen to him. But, you know, with accordance of the fair, Cedar was brought to auction and was auctioned off for a little bit over $900, 63 of which went to the fair, and the rest EL and her family were supposed to keep. And guess who ended up actually buying this goat? Guess. You're never going to be able to guess. It's California State Senator Brian Dale. What a state senator is doing buying a random goat at a county fair, I have absolutely no idea, but this man did. But like I said, EL was insanely attached to Cedar, and because she ended up being so attached, EL's mother decided that she and EL were going to enact EL's statutory rights, which means that under California law, because EL is a minor, she is allowed to back out of any contract that she may be a part of. So she legally, technically did not have to abide by this contract of giving Cedar to the state senator. I didn't realize that this was a law that minors were allowed to just like back out of contracts if they didn't want to do it anymore, but that's a great law. That's a good law. I think it's a really important one that we should have. But anyway, EL's mother, Jessica Long, ended up contacting Brian Dale, Cedar's new owner, and talking to him about the situation. And she explained to him, hey, we have had a lot of deaths in the family this year, and it would just be too much for my daughter to also go through her pet goat being taken and slaughtered. Like, we really, really, really do not want Cedar to die. Like, we won't even keep Cedar. We will bring him to like a third-party farm so that we are not fighting over Cedar and who has Cedar. We just really don't want anything to happen to Cedar. Is that okay? Is that something that we can make happen? And Brian Dale, being the understanding and empathetic man that he is like, oh, yeah, totally. Like, I get it. If you want Cedar to live, that's totally fine with me. You can bring him to whatever farm you want. Like, this is totally okay. I won't even like ask for my money back. The fair, they can keep the $900 that I used to buy Cedar, and you guys can bring him to whatever farm you want. Like, this is totally fine with me. You guys do what you want with Cedar. I'm totally cool with it. So EL and Jessica took Cedar from the fair and they drove him to a farm 200 miles away. And this is where Cedar was supposed to live for the rest of his life. And this is also where things get really fucked up. So when Jessica Long called BJ McFarland, who is the manager of the animals at the fair, and she explained to him like, hey, I talked to Cedar's new owner. You guys can keep the money, but we're not going to be giving him to Brian Dale. We're actually going to be taking him to this other farm. BJ McFarland had an absolute meltdown and he said, no, absolutely not. You guys can't do that. And Jessica did her best to try and plead with him. She sent him text messages, phone calls, like trying to be like, hey, this is what we're doing. And BJ McFarland didn't like it so much that he accused Jessica and her daughter of stealing Cedar and even contacted the police about their supposed theft. So because Jessica and EL did not return Cedar, an actual like search warrant was put out for Cedar in order to try and have him seized. So the two officers who executed this search warrant is Lieutenant Jerry Fernandez, who we can see here as winning Officer of the Year of 2016, and Detective Jacob Duncan, who won Peace Officer of the Year in 2021. Again, this is fucking disgusting, honestly. I mean, you guys are pigs. Don't you have any solidarity for your fellow farm animals? So these two shit stains, sorry, these two fuck nuggets, sorry, these two shitbags, sorry, these two police officers. Oh my god, I have no idea how I could have possibly messed that up so much. They drove over 10 hours to go and pick up Cedar and brought him back to the fair in the middle of the night, in which the fair workers then proceeded to slaughter Cedar. Now, I want to remind you, Cedar's new owner did not want him to die, and Cedar's previous owners did not want him to die. These police officers did not take Cedar into custody until they had figured out all of the civil lawsuit stuff going on around this. They took Cedar and they immediately killed him in the middle of the night, as though this was some sort of fucked up satanic ritual or something. Hello, Editing Spencer. I just want to throw in here that I have seen some reports claiming that these police officers then ate Cedar which I don't think happened because it can take a little while to break down an animal and get it to the point where it is ready to be cooked and turned into food. I'm pretty sure that somebody did end up eating cedar, but I don't think that it was these police officers who did, because they would have had to come back at a later time and like pick up Cedar's parts and then cook him and eat him and stuff like that. So I feel like that's beyond what actually happened. Somebody probably did use cedar and eat cedar, but I don't think that it was these police officers specifically. They were so mad that this little girl had dared to develop an emotional attachment to this animal that she had spent the past year raising, that they decided to punish her for it by murdering her pet. Jesus fucking Christ. If that is not like one of the most inhumane things that you have heard today, I don't want to know whatever apparently you know that is worse than this. So the Long family did file a lawsuit against the police department stating that many of their rights were violated, including the Fourth Amendment right of unlawful search and seizure of property, which is something that police officers tend to very frequently forget is one of our basic amendment rights. Police officers do actually steal more money and property than criminals do. Like, I'm not lying. I am not joking or exaggerating in any way. Look it up. Police officers will frequently take money and property that they do not have any right to take. And the reason why they get away with it is because they're typically taking it from poor and underprivileged people who do not have the ability to hire a lawyer and fight back against this amendment violation. The lawsuit that the Long family filed also states that they were denied their right to have a fair trial, seeing as they didn't have any sort of court date or anything like that. The police decided that they were going to be judge, jury, and executioner, and they fully just like did this without any sort of input from anybody else. The family is being represented from lawyers from the organization advocating law for animals, and the co-director of this organization has stated that this is a gross miscarriage of justice and an absolute failure of police priorities. Quote, government officials abuse their authority to terrorize a little girl by turning a purely civil dispute into a criminal circus, where they acted as judge, jury, and executioner in violation of the law. Government officials seized and killed a child's beloved pet without any due process or notice to her. We should be very concerned when armed men come with a warrant to breach doorways to seize a 9-year-old girl's beloved pet. This was an outrageous and textbook government overreach. Yeah, where's all the conservatives who complain about government overreach now? Oh, that's right, they don't give a shit when the boys in blue do it. Laws that regulate food to make sure that we're not getting sick from eating it? Oh, that's too much. How dare the government control us? But murdering our pets whenever they feel like it? Whatever. Who cares about that? So this did happen almost 2 years ago at this point, but the reason why I'm bringing it up now is because the court date for this was actually supposed to be on October 7th, 2024, which at the day of recording this video is about a week ago. Unfortunately, I have not been able to find anything following up about what the results of this court case has been. I have no idea if maybe the court case was moved, if it was dismissed, if journalists just simply haven't followed up on this, and thus that's why we're not getting information about it at all. I have no idea, but I still wanted to talk about this because this is just one of the most out there cases that I have heard in my entire life. If there is ever a time to say defund the police, then it is now. I feel like that scene from Community where the lady is like, I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at animal abuse.
I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at animal cruelty.
You can excuse racism.
It's always okay to say defund the police. Anytime the police do anything, defund them. Which also, hey, fun fact, the reason why we have EMTs now is because we decided to defund the police like back in the 70s or something like that. So yeah, actually defunding them and putting money into other areas and services is a really, really good thing. Because if we didn't do that, then we wouldn't have trained professionals who could give us medical help now. But yeah, ACAB, that's kind of all that I have for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more like it. But besides that, I hope that you stay safe and have a fantastic day. Bye.